Would I be the asshole for telling my mother that I won't look after her other child for the rest of my life? So I, 21F, have one sister, 23F. For the sake of the story we'll call Amy, whom I love dearly but despite being older, has a lot less life experience than I do. She's never had a job, I've been working since I was 15, she stays inside playing video games all day, I make an effort to be social, she still lives with our parents, I moved out as soon as I could. Amy's always been mother's favorite, our mother's has narcissistic tendencies and while Amy cradles her, I have a habit of sticking up for myself which obviously Mother Dearest didn't like. They've always spoiled her, like how she got a PS5 the same year I went without a school laptop because they couldn't afford both. I hate that in some ways it sort of made me resent my sister even though it's not her fault, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Anyway, our grandmother passed away recently and my mother decided that I was to move in her house and pay the rates and the bills while they sell theirs and go live the van lifestyle for a while. This story would be 10x longer if I got into all that, so I won't, and that my sister would come live with me when they're ready to go. The issue isn't her living there. I do love Amy and we've gotten along as adults. The issue is they're building her a 10 grand art studio in the yard. Let her pick the room in the house she wanted. Along with everything else of our grandmothers, it didn't matter how much it meant to me if she wanted it. She got it and all because they want her to be happy. Except I'm paying the bills and the rates and getting nothing but what she lets me have. There's also the fact that I don't want to live in this town forever, or take care of my sister forever. I need to be able to have my own life, but our parents expect me to just take care of their kid because they don't want to anymore? And she can't take care of ourselves because she's never bothered to get a job or go to university? I understand that my parents want their own lives too, but they're the ones who chose to have kids, not me. In my eyes, if you choose to be a parent, it's a lifelong commitment. Even if the kids are adults, sometimes things happen and you have to be prepared to look after them. Or at the very least they should be telling Amy she has to look after herself. I brought up the finance issues and they just said they'd put a trust in Amy's name to help with the house, which is fine I guess, but they're still just spoiling her and not urging her to do something with her life. Amy makes a little money through art commissions but not enough to live and has some mental health issues that affect things, but I do too and I'm still trying to figure life out. I just don't know what to do. So Reddit, would I be the asshole for telling my mother I won't take care of my sister forever? Don't move in. Don't pay the bills. Not the asshole. No, they're trying to transfer Amy's care to you and for you to pay for it. Don't do this. Have you seen your grandmother's will? I would insist on seeing it. If she named you specifically and separately, you need to know that. Do your parents feel your sister's mental health issues mean she can't live a normal life? Even if that's true, they ought to have made an effort with you. Your question: are you obliged to look after your sister? No. I would try to find out the complete circumstances. Is your sister capable of managing money? If she isn't, she may need help, but that doesn't mean it has ROB you or you need to live with her. So not the asshole. Just make sure you KO all the facts before you make a decision. Not the asshole if they can afford a $10,000 art studio, a trust for Amy and a van life. They can pay the bills and rates on Granny's house and let both of you sisters live there for free, assuming you'd even want to live there. And no, they shouldn't expect you to look after your sister. You have your own life to live. Sounds like it's time to put some distance between you and your narcissistic mom and spoiled sister. Not the asshole, but WDYM, you don't know what to do. You do know, so stop equivocating and give a flat no. If she keeps badgering you, cut her off. It's on you if you give in and let her trap you. Let your mother deal with what she created. Only move in if the house is in your name. Then you can evict both Amy and your parents if they try to come back. If the house is not in your name, just don't move there. Find another place to live by yourself. Maybe a tiny apartment without space for family. Not the asshole. This whole deal is absurd. Am I the asshole for setting boundaries with my wife's family when she thinks I'm being unreasonable? I, 33M, and my wife Jennifer, 32F, have been together 8 years, married for 5, and have 2 kids. We recently moved into a house we've been slowly fixing up. Her extended family has a very open-door culture. They come and go as they please, often without notice. Her grandparents even walk in unannounced, knock on the wall, and call out after they've entered. This makes me uncomfortable. I'm a private person who values alone time, especially because I like to relax at home in the nude, which Jennifer knows and normally respects. I've told her clearly that I need notice before anyone visits. Otherwise, I feel overwhelmed and like my space is being violated. This past weekend, Jennifer took the kids and her cousin on a short day trip. I was excited for some rare alone time. I told her I planned to sunbathe and play video games. Our yard is fully private, so being naked outside is not an issue. As I opened the door to head out, I saw someone moving in the yard. It was Jennifer's dad, dressed for work and carrying tools and lumber. Without informing me, he had come over to build a protective cover for our heat pump, a project I had already started. I had previously told him I wanted to handle the work myself so I could learn, though I appreciated his advice. He had agreed, but now, he proudly told me, "I put this together last night," showing a frame he'd already assembled, then said, "Put some clothes on and let's get started." I was stunned, totally naked and shocked he was even there. I went inside and called Jennifer. She said, "Yeah, he asked if he could come help," and I said it was fine, but I told him to call you first. So, she gave him the green light without checking with me, and he never called. My solo day turned into a project day, and I felt awkward saying no. I also feel like Jennifer never really gives me the chance to learn by doing. Her dad always ends up taking over, and I suspect she asks him because she doubts my skills. I suck at building things, but I want to learn. I told Jennifer how upset I was. My privacy was invaded, and my boundaries ignored. She got annoyed and said I was being ungrateful. When I asked her how she'd feel if my dad showed up while she was topless and I hadn't told her, she just said, "That's different." I'm a woman. I've now told her I want to ask her family to stop coming by unannounced. She's pissed, saying I'm overreacting and making them feel unwelcome. But I don't think I'm being ungrateful, I just want my personal space respected. I now find myself peeking around corners in my own home, never sure if someone's randomly shown up again. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for setting boundaries with my wife's family that she doesn't agree with? You're being completely reasonable. Your wife doesn't seem to get that it's your home too, and she shouldn't be making unilateral decisions about the space and who gets to come and go from it without a balanced conversation between the two of you. I don't really know what to say to help, because the issue is that you've expressed your feelings on the matter and she's invalidated them. So how do you make someone who shows they can't be arsed to see things from your perspective see your perspective? It's like, you've said, "This bothers me," and she said, "I don't care." Where do you go from there? Not the asshole, but she is, as are her parents for not calling when she said to call you. I think it's probably time to start kicking people out when they come over unannounced. Not the asshole, that's basic manners. Lock your doors, and if they show up unannounced, politely tell them to leave. You need to be firm, otherwise they will keep doing this. Not the asshole. Calling ahead is just common decency. Your wife needs to step up and tell her family that this is how it has to be, as you need time to unwind. What if her mother had been with her dad that day? Not the asshole. My family is the same. They just walk in and out of each other's homes. It was how I was raised. My husband is like you. It was a simple conversation, and now my family knocks and waits. Not the asshole. It took me a long time to train my mom's side of the family that I need notice before they spring themselves on me, and my mom herself was the last to learn. I think you need to tell your wife how this makes you feel. I ended up on meds for anxiety because I could not relax in my own home because I was scared of the door going at any moment. Don't let it get to that point. Not the asshole. Just ask your mom to come over and cook your favorite dish in your kitchen, unannounced to your wife. Afterwards, you can resume the boundary discussion again. Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law that nobody likes her? This weekend my sister-in-law, 35F, came over with my brother-in-law, 34M, and their child. My brother-in-law is my husband's, 44M, little brother. I, 39F, have been with my husband for almost 20 years now. All of my husband's family, other brother and parents, don't really like her. She lives with my brother-in-law and his parents. He takes care of his elderly parents, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law have been wanting to kick her out for years. They never had the courage to do so, because she has a child with my brother-in-law and she's not all there. This brings me to what happened over the weekend. She wanted to come over with her family so she could change her mind, because her grandmother recently died. My husband said yes, just so he could see his brother and our nephew. She walks into my place like she owns the place and starts criticizing my dog, a tiny little Shih Tzu, for running up to her. I remind her not to feed the dog any human food. Last time she gave our dog melted cheese, because her grandma's dog eats human food, and go about making lunch for everyone. She criticized the lunch I had made, taquitos and homemade salsa, and said she didn't like eating food from other countries. Okay, fine. I decide for supper I am going to make chicken nuggets and fries, because she's going to criticize everything I do. Even though my daughter had her friend over, I went easy with 10 mouths to feed. I had a quick errand to run and she wanted to join me. Fine. She follows along, complaining the whole time because I was taking too long to choose my olive oil and a few other things. She then starts asking me why I bought certain things. So I told her that the next day I would be making Greek food, comfort food for me, and she goes off on my Greek origins. I let it slide. As I am making supper she starts whining about how she misses her grandmother and how she's always screaming at my brother-in-law and their son. That's when I blew up at her while she helped herself to my alcohol, essentially telling her that nobody likes you in the family. At all. Everyone just tolerates your stupid pathetic ass because you have a kid with Bill. As a sister-in-law, you suck. You've been with brother-in-law for over 10 years and the only time you've ever paid attention to my family is when you got pregnant with his kid. You always complain about being broke, yet you're always buying junk off of Marketplace and trying to borrow money from us. I've always thought you were the most pathetic person in the universe. It's not because you act like an idiot and claim to be mentally disabled that you are. You're just a fat lazy fuck who can't get your act straight. My brother-in-law didn't say a word as I blasted his girlfriend. He came up to me after and told me I was right about her and left it at that. When they left, my husband said I was an asshole for telling her that nobody liked her. My in-laws said I was right. So Reddit, am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law that nobody likes her? Edit. Someone reported my post to Reddit care. I don't need that, thanks. Esh, your sister-in-law sounds like an extremely unpleasant person to be around and definitely an asshole for insulting your origins in your food and your shopping. But you went nuclear and that was also asshole move. The brother-in-law agreeing is also terrible. If he feels this way, he needs to break up with her and deal with child support. Esh, she don't sound fun, but you also said some super hurtful things. Lazy fuck, pathetic person and so on. Also it clear that you hate her because you had a problem with her before she even did anything, walked in like she owned the place. You are the asshole not for telling her off, but for framing it as, nobody likes you, rather than having the courage to own your complaints against her yourself. Yes, she sounds intolerable, and it is probably true that nobody likes her. But that's the other family member's truth to share, or to keep to themselves. She sounds awful, but you come off as kind of mean. Info. She wanted to come over with her family so she could change her mind, because her grandmother recently died. I don't understand what you're trying to express here. Your sister-in-law was trying to change her mind about what? How in the world would visiting you cause her to change her mind about something? And what the hell does any of this have to do with Granny? Nobody likes you in the family. At all. Everyone just tolerates your stupid pathetic ass. You suck. I've always thought you were the most pathetic person in the universe. You act like an idiot and claim to be mentally disabled. You're just a fat lazy fuck who can't get your act straight. You are the asshole. You admit you disliked her from day one, and she sounds pretty rude in general. But blowing up on her with all those personal attacks because she started whining about missing her grandmother who just died. You're definitely an asshole. Esh, what you said had no correlation with what she was saying or doing. You just went fully nuts on her. Y'all seem like an exhausting fam. Am I the asshole for telling my friend that he shouldn't have used AI to write a memorial? So I play for a volunteer sports team in my local area and I have made friendships with many of the other people at the club. One person who I have now become friends with manages the club's social media, posting about matches, events, etc. partly because he wants to go into social media as a career and wants to put this on his resume. Recently, someone close to our club passed away. The memorial post that followed was a soulless nothingburger of a wall of text that waved all the red flags for AI generation. I messaged him and told him that he probably shouldn't have used AI and I then told him ways to make ChatGPT sound more human. Honestly, I was rude, but to me a bit of rudeness from me is worse than him getting rejected from a job because of the constant use of AI. He then played the "I didn't use AI" card for a bit, then went on to say I was being disrespectful because it was a memorial post. Honestly, I can get why he sees me as an asshole, like I was rude and I could have just went on with my day after seeing the post. So Reddit, was I the asshole? Edit. You all will just have to take my word for it that it was AI. Just imagine you ask ChatGPT to write a eulogy. I don't want to dox the deceased person, my friend, the club or myself. Not the asshole, it's a memorial. Having a machine regurgitate facts and condolences isn't honoring anyone's memory. The only way to keep AI from becoming even more pervasive and eroding even more of people's ability to think for themselves is to keep pushing back against its use in creative functions. Not the asshole using AI should be called out in every regard, and especially if it's used to memorialize a human. What a dishonor to that person's humanity to use AI to write a memorial for that person. Your friend can't use his own brain to find words to remember this man? Sure, it's hard, but using AI for it is shameful. Not the asshole. That's gross and tacky. I saw you saying it was making up details of his life in a response too. Insane he posted it. Why even go through the effort if you don't care? Can he be, or is he monetized where it was posted? Not the asshole, and the people in here acting like it's difficult to tell when an article was written by ChatGPT are hilarious. That's cope, guys. Everyone knows. There are ways you can get ChatGPT out of the standard ChatGPT voice, if you're very good at prompt engineering, and other AI have different voices. But the standard ChatGPT voice is extremely distinctive if you know what to look for. All the pro AI douchebags found this post, it seems. They're getting very defensive in the comments. The fact that they're all saying the same thing means it's probably just the usual bots. Not the asshole relying on AI just to write something as personal, serious and important as a memorial is awful. If your friend needed help with writing it, he should have asked a person.